It is 3:07 p.m. Uh, yeah, May 13th, 2018. I'm being shocked half to death. Ain't stopped, but a lot of the burning, shocking feeling, exhilarated shit. It turned off probably about 15 minutes ago to where I had some feeling, and then it started re-shocking, burning, like a sensation, not just poking in through the jaw, a burn sensation against the brain stem, right here through the neck, into the vagus, I guess. I keep saying varg, there's no R in it. The vagus nerve, like a vagus stimulator possibly, being shocked, and the mind being shocked. My eyes also iterating with it. While I'm trying to go to sleep, I've been awake for over 24 hours. Almost. I might have went to sleep for maybe 20 minutes, if even that. Once again, sleep deprivation, burn marks in through the forehead, but the point of the video is knowing a time zone for what I'm about to report, or what I want to make acknowledgeable. And that is the shocking of whatever. I don't have paperwork or medical calls for a device or implant or anything of such of being turned on or off that says is legal, or that I even have inside me. There's no proof of it. The only proof is for my own word. And with that being said, just completely deteriorating me. They're utilizing it for a weapon. They're trying to utilize it as a public behavioral controlling rights, like I'm behaviorally disorderly. You have groups and hordes of people involved in this. How many people does it take to make complaint? How many people? Basically, it's federal thugging they're trying to get away with, while also criminally doing shit. But when it comes out to it, oh well, now we're also government, so it'll be taken lightly on us. Or this is how society works. What I'm going to say with that is they've tried to, and in all directions, block me from having a normal life. Completely sabotage life-threatening situations. I was told by the system here in Columbus, Ohio, the things that I'm talking about is the same thing as pointing a gun at somebody and telling them that you're going to hold them basically captive. You're threatening them with the gun, but technically they're not threatening with a weapon. They're threatening with abilities of community, enforcement, and power. And it's the same amount of weight in the system and should be considered just as that, as life-threatening. You're threatening the other person. They're not allowed to be around. They ain't this. They're shit to the other person, calling me shit, all kinds of stuff. I've had lazy eye my whole life, trying to discriminate, and then with all the other stuff making me look like I'm incapacitated. And then he has no reason or cause, but they also know this implant's there. So just like the system, I've been through mental health. I was forced to go through some of that, but that was also where I had my side of story. I also had a lawyer, which wasn't my lawyer. It was a lawyer that was included with the system to a sense. I think I had the system pay for it, and I made my own contact. I'm not 100% sure on that. But anyhow, and with a lawyer sitting there knowing rights for myself without me being taken advantage of the system, and also putting together some step up to the situation, so I had the rights to enforce back at some of the situation that these guys are illegally trying to operate. When they're trying to say, nah, well then you need to come up. When you have legal allegations against somebody, you need to come up civil suit sanction, and saying that, and that's what they're trying to say, then you need to file that with the courts so everybody knows it. He doesn't even know it. Myself, and this is me hearing from the other party, mental health itself, not just the doctors, but the counselors and the other stuff, because there's a lot of insinuation. That's not your doctor, that was a counselor. There's a difference between the professional doctor and the professional counselor. Well, both of them agreed. There's just some blockage that I'm not giving of the doctor because they like taking advantage of whatever they can get their hands on, or iterating understanding. And with the device they're eavesdropping with, and they've been eavesdropping on me. I've found cameras hidden in other houses, and fire, smoke detectors, stuff like that, so they can see me visually. Now, I haven't been able to find them here. I need to come up with the money to do that. But without explanation of that, just being fried out. I wanted the time-wise of when and what's going on. There is another family member here. There has to do something with my family members with this device shocking the fuck out of me. Like, I'm behaviorally unruly, I'm a mental retard, and they have a right to do this. That's fine. If I was a mental retard, just like the system, because I took that directly to the system, one, they would have noticed it as a child. There has to be a backlog of paperwork, more than likely at the birth hospital that I was given birth at. Even if it was found out later on, it would have been found out way before she should have had it diagnosed. Since it wasn't, that's abuse and neglect against the people that was around him. This is from their party. In a certain sense, I'll even take it, but I'm not going to fully enforce that I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, don't defend yourself. That's wrong to do. No. Being treated fucked up. Toxic family members dominating and enforcing whatever they want. Mob-styled shit. But at the same time, there is mob-style shit included, but I'm not included in that. With profiling, the system found out. With affidavits, they was perjurizing and all kinds of stuff. So with that being said, it goes to show I need to tell my side of the story and have it heard, but now there's corruption in the system. That's also understood. And with that corruption, they're able to take advantage of they're also taking advantage through a device and quit being a whiny little bitch. My eyes are going back and forth. I'm being shocked so hard. My pupils are dilating in and out. It's like electroconvulsive therapy, except the probes are not exactly against my head. It's something inside, because I'm having burning sensations all the way through. The poke sensations, almost like a lumbotomy. Somebody telling me at one hospital appointment that I had a fucking lumbar puncture that seems to have went wrong last October. Somebody muttering under their breath from the radiology room, or the room next to where I'm having the procedure. But it's not really next to, it's the room, it's a connected room, like a monitoring room for the procedure room. So it's technically probably still one room, it's just behind a wall or a protective barrier, that I was having a trach lumbotomy. Lumbotomies are illegal. They've been illegal since 1986. I do believe is the right deal. I've had other talks with other people, and an incident where I accidentally had my microphone on while playing a video game, and someone else overheard it, and probably a veteran from way back in the day, had military background, but without including all of that. Yo, bud, I overheard what you said, and that's fucked up. If you think someone's giving you a lumbotomy and or trying to proceduralize something like that, that shit's been illegal for sure, hardcore, since like 1985, 1983. He went to like 1983 or 85. As far, I found out it was like, or I thought I found out it was 1986, but it may even be before then. No matter what, too long ago to be able to be legal right now. So, with this other person threatening, the intimidation of, haha, that's what's happening to you, you're having a lumbotomy, then it's illegal. They have found a benign tumor right here in my frontal lobe with an MRI. The MRIs and the stuff that they're doing isn't 100% complete. I 100% believe and know for a fact somebody's altering them. But with that benign tumor, that one had to come out. That also means I've had people come out and straight out tell me with implants like deep brain stimulators and stuff, that is a for sure sign, a mark. It'll be in every last patient that has a stimulator in their head, implanted. That is an exact mark. Every last one of them will have that same mark. The same mark that I have. They say it's a benign tumor. Why wouldn't it show the wires in the head? Because there's a radiologist technician that alterated the machine so it wouldn't pick up the device itself, which they can do. Affect the device, but they can also make it out to where it doesn't pick up the device itself, so it won't show none of the wires. You'll just get a normal brain scan. Now the pituitary, the benign tumor, that's because it's a normal brain scan. The wires, where the wires indent at, you won't see the actual device. You'll see the scar, though. That's the way I believe it. That's the way I was understanding it. You'll see scar tissue, but you won't see the actual device. So there's scar tissue from the device. The probe and the wire that was drilled into my forehead. Anyways, with that being said, like I said, I just wanted to make proof with the time date stamp. I was trying to go to sleep, ain't been able to go to sleep, been made sick. I have been taking Bactrim because of an infection. It actually started helping out for about 4 to 5 days. I'm on my last day and a half with taking it for a 10-day period. And for the last 4 days, I think it's been 3 days, it's been terrible. It's almost like the infection, whatever was causing the infection is now causing the infection. Someone trying to affect that I'm good enough to go off now, I'm healthy, they're going to start rebothering or trying to open wounds type of figure of speech and just keep progressing forward, even though I'm not doing well at all. And the whole 10 days of the Bactrim not working right. But anyways, what I spaced out cognitive functionings, mind shit, to where I used to be able to remember shit, can't remember it. Signs of lobotomy, signs of electroconvulse, shocking, which leaves scar tissue in the brain. So there are certain ways to trace that. There's just like the markings with the implants. Most people who have been shocked with electroconvulse, electroshock of any sorts, microwaves and all the rest, if it's severe enough, and I won't even just say long term, but good enough to make an imprint, there you take all the people that's went through the same symptoms, and there's a mapping situation of identical characteristic and traits that happen in every individual that's had that done. They're all similar. So that is a sign. That's like just a medical diagnosis. There's leading signs, cold and flu, something dumb, to where those are the signs of what it is. And that's basically how that's profiled. I need a better trustworthy MRI person, a specific technical MRI, which is expensive, I do believe. But it would be able to prove what I'm saying. So I'm not the one that's messed up while I'm being taken advantage of. I'm being told they're legally doing it. And that's right. Well, that's fine. I can understand some, but not all of it. Not when I'm a victim and you're trying to victimize the victim, which is called, and to a point, victim blaming. Intentionally blaming the victim for being a victim. Don't be a pussy, quit whining, quit crying, quit this and that. Your own family members, when it's involved that way, especially when you're trying to prove mob-style, intentional grouping, wrong type of shit. I'm looking at federal treason for my own family. Constitutionally breaking the Constitution themselves. Hindering me from being able to abide to the Constitution. But by saying that, I put myself in jeopardy of, hey, you just said you can't. And the system says you can't live that way, and you need proof. So until you can prove that, you can be locked up, or you can be progressed against by the system. Well, here goes the situation. Whose system's corrupt enough to be working with it when one system was already starting to deal with it, and I didn't completely go through with it because of for my own protection, or something happened that I wasn't, just something happened, I didn't complete the situation, but now the system's changed from one place to another. Kind of sense, if it's federal, it shouldn't have changed that much, if at all. It would have stayed the same. So somebody's in there working with bad shit. That's all I know. Bad shit for myself, but that's all I know. It's all about intelligence and intellect and how the system works. Well, I've already been fucked up to the point, excuse the lingo, that and the vulgarism there, I've been trying to work on that, and that's something else that didn't work. But anyhow, just didn't work. Let me guess, another space out. Schizophrenic. Now I'm being blamed schizophrenic. First, they started out with PTSD, which can be caused. Then I was antisocial personality disorder. Prior to that was seasonal anxiety disorder. I've had multitudes of different diagnoses, which I don't want to admit to, but I have to now. It goes to show, I want to see in 1995, I believe it was, when mental health was progressed by the FBI across the whole United States for fucking fraud. Now it's social fraud. They're doing things manipulative, intelligently, and fraudfully, trying to fraud the system, enjoying the money, the power, and time out of that system. Spending taxpayers' dollars, per se, or spending federal funds that are required with requirements and not meeting those requirements. But hey, who knows that unless somebody reports it? That's the way I feel. I haven't fully proven it, but I'm almost sure I can. I've had an incident that's federally funded in one state. It's a federal funding program. Each state can apply for and get funds from some type of situation like that. And in another state or another city, it worked. And they worked in a certain way that abided by those regulations. Where I'm at right now, why wouldn't it even transfer? But I can see each state, each city, to a certain extent, that it's at that extent that it has to be taken up individually like that. But they still have to abide by the same regulations. Why hasn't this place done the same thing? But who says they're not, which has already been pushed in my face? We already did. Kind of strange how quite a few other places have done something different than what you've done. See how I feel that it's off? It's not just one other place and, well, you know, things worked out there for you. No, there's about 3 to 4 at least that I can come off mind that's worked out correctly. Columbus, Ohio is the place that it has not. And it was also a place that everybody pointed the finger of the corrupt acts, the bad insinuations, and the enforced attackful type of situations. Even if it's legally trying to legally challenge me, it's still attackful, it's still aggressive. Attacking. I'm not going to take no less than attacking for the fact it's so aggressive and the things that have happened. You have other systems saying I'm being attacked and you're standing there like, nope, this is the way Ohio is. I've been told by other counties and other cities traveling around Ohio, they don't need to be representing Ohio that way. That's a city and a Franklin County situation, and it's starting to sound like just the city of Columbus. So, coming back on that, just another, I guess it would be insult if it's another embarrassing situation that should be applied to them. You tried to intentionally enforce, wrongfully, somebody's mind to believe there's this amount of power to it, and it wasn't. So you're lying through your teeth like you're trying to maybe make me out or whatever else. It just doesn't make sense. But I messed up. I have bad teeth. I got poisoned in Colorado Springs. No investigation completely done, but what are you going to do? Go in and test the beer? 1 bottle of beer? 2 bottles of beer? Even if they put the whole shelf, because I was drinking 40 ounces. The people that implanted the shit just take the bottles off the shelf. My teeth got eaten up almost overnight. Same situations happened elsewhere. But I was poisoned with rat poisoning in Baltimore and walked to New York City. I was hiking back then a lot. Hiking around the United States. And they gave me, I got drunk. I lost a lot of hair. I got drunk, put in detox. And that's when I guess they tested blood, probably for blood alcohol level or some shit. Found rat poisoning in my system. I vaguely remember it, but they gave me an antidote. Because I do remember the next day remembering trying to trigger the effect, because when I was combing my hair prior, for 3 weeks prior, I was losing all my hair. And with overnight, my hair stopped falling out. The antidote. That's what exactly happens. It works that quick. It works, if not immediately, within a couple of hours. Should erase the effects of what's going on. Anyways, even if there's no record of it, someone's always, hey buddy, prove it. Who do you think was involved with poisoning me? The guy going, damn, that's not right. Or the other guy, hey buddy, prove it. You want to mess around with us? Police, mental health, brutality, law enforcement. I'll take it back from blue-collared cops and whatever else they go after. Law enforcement, government in general. Somebody intentionally knowing the loopholes of the system and trying to apply it to me and attacking me with it. An intellect challenge. Then don't stand so high. I'll tell you what to do because I know more than you. That's all fine. Here goes the situation. You care about your community. You don't like me. You don't, no matter what it is, say I agree to all of it, that I don't need to be belonged in your community. Think about what I've been saying. I've traveled around the United States and the same people, for sure. They've also been caught elsewhere, at least warned, or me being warned that someone's following me. Followed me. If you're only caring and kind for your community, why would you follow me? Why would you try to erect that everywhere? I've sat here in Columbus, Ohio now, like 8 years, 10 years straight. You came, you're not living in Colorado no more, you're living in Columbus trying to control me. So you're not caring about your community, you're caring about what kind of power you can enforce. It's a thrill, an enjoyment. That means you are assaulting, you're harassing. Psychological, emotional, thrilling yourself off of pushing me around. And being able to utilize the system, sabotage while you lied, and they was caught in some of that with what they're doing. And oh well. Well, now you're not caring about a dang thing, lying and joining and playing with somebody else's life to the point it's life-threatening. Now, I want to see what comes out correct and who watches this. I should have said it to begin with. I do apologize with barely a shirt on there. I don't want to look like, Offset. It's summertime. And I just woke up and figured as quick as I could do it with what was, I understood, stalking.org, but there's quite a few sites and personal help stuff, but some of the personal help stuff gets the same way I am. I wish I could produce technically and in a better way to help other people, and while pulling in help for myself, but in the long run to help other people quickly help them out with their problems if they're having similar problems that I know for a fact are real, and be able to help them too. But without just all of that, stalking.org, stuff like that, make a profile is what it says. Log down what you're saying, or what you're seeing, what you're being harassed, what the problem is. If that's the problem you want to understand, log it. Times, dates, videos, papers, however you have to do it. There's other sites that also say, like dreaming, being attacked, sleep deprivation, dreaming, stuff like that. Record your dreams. What happened? What made you feel the dream was this? What was included? What was happening? What made you... However it works. But some of the inclusion of my point of saying this is sometimes you don't want to take a half hour when you get up and think about it, because you may forget some technical, or you may forget the dream completely. Some people that works that way. Some people it's just the opposite. And some people it's just, it depends on how the dream is and whatnot. So my point is, without a shirt on, I got straight up and almost practically within 5-10 minutes max, and that's a long time for me. Long time for what trying to mesmerize what the dreams was, to have went for an extent to mesmerize it the right way. So if it wasn't just dreaming, it was also the effects of what's happening induced, trying to play with telepathic. I'll also try to look into, like I have, basically should explain sleep forensics, or forensic sleeping techniques. And that's, to me, a maximum place to go to, because that would explain tooling of mental health psychology forensics, utilizing in the sleep to induce the situations that I'm saying. And these people that are uncertified utilizing those techniques. It's depend on how they know how that works to see how damaging that is to myself, is the way I think about it. But legally, I do believe they see it differently. If I had a lawyer, it may come out even worse. But I was already told by the system, if they're harassing me in my sleep, it's criminal harassment. It needs to be proven, but how do you prove that? You have to record it somehow, or have a secondary witness there. Well, I don't have my secondary witness, I don't have a connection, but that's one thing stalking.org says. Support group, support person, somebody else to support you. If you're being domestic violence or in a toxic family, toxic relationship, and even included in other things, if that person's bothered the other person enough not to have connections outside, they don't have no support really. It's hard also to go through the system mental health wise and explain that when you're supposed to be powerful and strong, and if you ain't powerful enough to hold your life together, even if somebody's bothering you, then that means you've become mentally ill, or that you're maybe not mentally ill, but at least incapacitated. And then the rights of the system, being assaulted by a system, that's assault still. A lawyer would be able to decipher, take that situation on, more than likely win it if you're caught in the same predicament that I am. But yes, it's still illegal, even though the authoritative force that you feel or that you might go through, they enforce it. Well, no, that's okay. No, it's not. But that's the whole point. It led up to that, and all of that leading up isn't just a lie. It's false, not right, incorrect, not proper, not technical. So all of this being to where, one, I ain't been to sleep. I got up, I have to remember what time I got up. I do believe I've been up 24 hours now, at least. And this goes on and off now, has been since another family member has moved into the house back in November. And everybody and their mom, when this person first showed up, we went cruising through the neighborhood, and they did it in front of her face to go ahead and throw her out because they knew she was going to start trouble. I don't know this family member too well. Basically an estranged family member trying to dominate with family values and rights. But I don't know you. That's wrong. It's not to disrespect. Being scolded like I don't have the rights to say what I want to. That's we'll go have someone, let's go do that properly. But I'm afraid because there's been corruption and they're connected to the shit, like I was saying, that shit being improper. I was already told by the system the improperization is wrong. It's illegal. It's criminal. It's called systematic assault. It takes away a person's freedom wrongfully. It's basically holding a person captive, because if they're under force that they have to be held and somebody perjurized for that to happen, then that person is intentionally assaulting the other person, not just harassing, but assaulting the other person, depriving the rights of the other person's freedoms and rights and liberties. And they intentionally did it for an assaultive, thrilling, or power-controlling situation. So trying to stay on base without being spacey, look into the electroconvulsive shock or therapy, and you'll see symptoms of what happens. Look into lobotomy. You'll see what happens. You'll see symptoms that I explain later on, very similar, which also have a similar, to a point, conception with incapacitation. But yes, technically shock therapy incapacitates the mind to the point that it has to reactivate itself. Someone trying to deem somebody else not good enough, and that's probably wrong for me to put my arm up against the wall. That's a bad sign. That's a sign of strength or cockiness, while somebody else is regulating. I just trying to get on my nerves over the traits and the characteristics that they want to apply to. I'm all for it. I'm down to understand. I'm not being too disruptive, but at the same time, you know what? Where's the freedom of rights of life and stuff like that? Behavioral acts. I know I'm messed up to the point now that I can't even be, I won't say can't be in public, but here in Columbus, Ohio. I took a trip, and that trip was on April 1st to the United States Capitol, Washington, D.C. Not to exaggerate that point, because that's a sign of mental illness or incapacitation or wrong thinking in certain perspectives. But anyhow, I did my perspective of just like stalking.org, domestic violence, helplines, all the rest. If you're involved in a situation, take off from that situation, or test trial a takeoff somewhere. How you think it should work out and might change. If the situation change, then you have a definite situation more than likely. You just use your gut feelings. And without even knowing the law, trying to be like, well, I don't know that, so I'm not sure. You use your gut feelings and know that if things change so dramatically, you're doing better off elsewhere, no matter how long it took or whatever, to a point, then yes, then you're probably being assaulted, abused, neglected, whatever else violence that it is. And that's what happened. The situations, I won't say it completely happened, because they did follow me up there, but it took them time to adjust up there, and that's COT itself to show you had to take time to utilize enforcements, or to group up, or to do the similar things that you're doing here, to threaten, abuse, attack with, try to concept and whatnot. And some things they couldn't do because it's illegal elsewhere, when it may be legal at where you're at. That's another type of possibility of test, which sucks for people that say, hey, this has been my home, I don't want to move away, but I didn't know the laws, and technically somebody can get away with something here, but they won't, it's not right that in another state that they would be criminally charged, or something else would order them not to do something and have to destroy their life. But that's what it is, being assaulted psychologically, systematically, socially, or even harassed emotionally, all the other good stuff. There's a difference between assault and harassment. You can check out emotional assault, you can check out emotional harassment. Emotional assault turns into, I believe, what it will be described on pages, but with a psychological doctor saying technically emotional assault is psychological assault. It's basically the same thing. Psychological harassment can exist, I guess, but it's not as severe as psychological assault or emotional assault. And emotional harassment, I think, can exist, and they all can coexist in a certain situation, where there's situations of multitudes of different things being done, and those multitudes of things are different degrees of situations. One's assault assisting out with harassment, or harassment assisting out with assault. So with that multitude of situations going on, that's massive severity. But yes, it's all possible, and it needs to be understood. And when you start understanding it, especially when you're trying to get better, or trying to get the situation resolved where you're feeling better and you feel in control of your own life, and you feel that you're able to live again normally, or the way that you want to, that's the way it's done. I got pressures in my ear, hardcore, through my throat, down through my chest, and my forehead. I can't even explain it for right now. I'll have to do a whole nother video. That's pretty bad. Even without being implanted, somebody trying to cause headaches, deprivation of sleep, trying to irritate you, make you in a grumpy mood, and then making it out that you're grumpy, something's wrong with you, because nobody else knows exactly what's going on. That's some severity shit just by itself. But that's toxic relationships, to say the least. That's, I guess, the professional word to use is toxic relationship. I'm done with this video for now. I'm going to go ahead and upload this one. A bunch of rambling still, but hey, hopefully I can show a daily log from my life and from my situation to others without me being attacked or assaulted. I'm sure someone will try to profile it and seek out my weaknesses and try to attack me wrongfully with that. But hey, don't print anything on the internet you don't want your mom to see. Well, some of that, even your own mother wouldn't be able to insult or threaten or try to control. You're intentionally doing it wrongfully, and if it's caught, it's wrong to do. But it's still thrilling to challenge somebody else, especially if you don't like them, or it's just a challenge situation of, hey, it's about weight, right or wrong. If you're in the right, then you're in the right. You have the empowered situation. You're powerful because you're in the right. If you're in the wrong, you have no power, you're powerless. You need to straighten yourself out. I can agree to some of that, but when I'm a victim, some of that's hard to agree with, especially not being competent enough per se, or capacitated due to assaults and the harassment to understand what my powers really are. That's badly worded, but good enough for now. Anyways, so don't pry on my weaknesses, and I'm sure people will, but I'm not trying to daunt and taunt. I was told in another specific scenario of self-help not to even mention it, for the fact it opens up the person that might be watching, like, what, they may not know that they're trying to assault or harass, or that they may harass, but something triggered them to harass you, or to harass me, or to harass the person that said it, or create a situation that they start gaining the power. It makes them feel powerful with the admittance of that. But I'll do it in this video, because the only thing that I can get involved is law enforcement, supposedly, besides myself knowing my rights and be able to print those. Liberty is for everyone as a site. I'm not going to include there's stuff. There's a lot of people doing this cop block, cop watch, but it's not just against cops. Now try systematical. Get away from the cops, do all of the government. What comes up, not just news stories of NSA and CIA. You know, power and enforcement of government, not doing right. I'll give CIA and NSA, there's an intelligent meeting committee 4 years ago. I recorded it on DVR on cable, kept it, and then I recorded it with camera, the segment that was there, with time, date. I should be able to find that video and go back in the National Archives, say, hey, I want a replay of this, and I might even be able to put it up on the website. But even the CIA and the NSA is saying shit, getting off hand here, that it's not them prying into privacy all the time. You have terrorists, you have local people, you have gang members, you have people that have money that just want to do this shit. And they can obtain the same devices and the same techniques and skills, the same abilities as the NSA and the CIA to do the same thing. And people are blaming the government when it's not the government doing it. It is actually somebody else doing it, which criminally is doing it illegally. So, you know, not jumping case, but at the same time, I'm not saying they're innocent, not saying that I'm giving a hand up or down. I don't know how to put that, but I won't say I don't know how to put that, just in the bestest way around, just like police, not blaming every cop because one cop did bad type of situation, but that's all became technical of, hey, you really want to play powerful and supportive, know your shit. Well, that's the way I'm going to put it right now because I've been knocked down also. Brutalized. It was told by the mental health department, mental health brutality. It wasn't physical. It's mental health systematical brutalized shit. Being told the wrong stuff, being iterated, scolded, or even if it was in a nice tone, like, well, technically that's okay, and then you go back in and you find out that officer is just being real peachy, nice, happy-go-lucky, and telling you just illegally the opposite stuff. But anyways, that being said, here's one diary that I did, video diary. Ain't great, but of a daily life situation that's happened with me. I keep multitudes of cameras with me, 2 different cell phones. If I didn't have the 2 cell phones, something that could record or at least take a picture with me at all times in case one falls out, because there's electronic jamming going on. I'll explain that later, and the ability and them controlling the abilities of being able to say stuff or keeping the videos, the pictures. Data theft is what they're doing, stuff like that. But and then that also irritates. Hot, we took your stuff, you don't have it, you go back into it, we screwed you over. So I'm in a bad, severe situation that I haven't been able to get help with just yet, but this is the way I'm logging it, and this is what agencies say to kind of log it with. I may not be 100%, but from what I read and what I want to do and how I want to log it for right now, it's good enough. But they say at least write it down, and then it's been included now, videos. Do a video log, a vlog without it being public, like I do. OneDrive, you pay $10 a month, and you get a terabyte of storage. I've been at this for long ass time, and you got a lot of storage space. That'll hold tons of videos. If you tone your camera down only to where it's lower grade video, not to the high def unless you need it that way, like I've been 38 minutes, I only have a 925 megabyte video. It's loud enough, it's clear enough, I can see myself, I can see incidences happen around me, objects, no matter what it is, it's visually conceptual. Can't always, I won't say rely on that. It's reliable, but if it's too severe, always get more professional and more professional help. Somebody that exactly knows how to do what they're doing. But for this video diary, you're good off with yourself, should be. Microphone picking up on low grade, video low grade, and being able to make clear diary logs and be able to go back over top of those. Writing it down is a great way. Writing it down and videotaping. Logging certain descriptions on your diary paper, and with the log video, did video on this day at this time, and being able to go back into your library and hitting that video back up. And then also having descriptive words in case I'm rambling like I am, and not maybe you forgot the sense of what you're trying to sense, so you make a definitive, like a definitional situation of what you was trying to explain. That way you can regather your thoughts back to that situation. And if it's not just regathering your thoughts, being able to understand or being able to have it more reliable to report with, to show for evidence, or to get support and help with. And maybe, you know, reiterate it to a point that it's a hell of a lot more understandable, and you understand it automatically, but you don't technically have to do that. It's just I do. I don't always do that. I had my diary stolen. That's how toxic it is. I have videos on the website of my own family members, somebody very trustworthy, taking my diary, and I quit. I quit writing in that diary. I quit writing diaries, period. They eavesdrop on the videos, but how are you going to say you have my videos when it's supposed to be on my device and my secured drive and all the rest? That means you didn't just pry it off the desktop. You're doing a hell of a lot more criminal acts to be able to access this information. But you can do Google Drive, keep it all private, do OneDrive free. Google Drive allows unlimited as long as they can degrade the quality, but the quality is good enough. Even at a degraded quality, when you set the quality on your camera to where it's visible, is good enough, it's clear enough, it's stable enough, they give you unlimited storage space, as far as I know. So right there is your answer, Google Drive. OneDrive gives you up to a certain X amount. I think you get 10 gigabytes free. If you're doing what I'm doing here, and you're trying to do it quicker than I am, 10 gigabytes is good enough, depending on how much you record, because I record a lot, as far as I'm concerned. 2-3 hours a day, but usually. But 10 gigabytes, free storage, something like that, should last you 3 months. That should be good enough for anybody making proof and want to get done and know that they have the ability to get it done within 3 months. They just need space, you know, a little extra help there. That's at least 3 months worth of videos, day after day. So that's my self-help. But for the situation of why I did this, my daily diary, was because of being shocked while I'm laying down trying to go to sleep. It kicking off at that time, within that time frame, no more, no less. So whatever was happening around me, I can realize maybe in the future who's around, what's around, starting to profile what's going on, which mental health told me to do anyways. While somebody else is making it out, that's crazy. The only person calling you crazy is probably the perpetrator themselves. The abuser, the attacker. I want to get so much better into this, and so much better, because I've had so much happen to me over life, and so much non-supportive just situations happening. So much perjury, so much attacking, systematical misconduct, errorist things. So this is the way I take care of my stuff, and will start doing a whole lot better again. I've been doing a lot of these videos for well over since 2011, end of 2011, and I've actually didn't have a cell phone the whole time, and I was utilizing a Sony Nex3 camera, which I won by a contest online, which was gracious. I found a cell phone on the highway. It was a nice cell phone, had great videoism, wasn't even as good as this. It wasn't completely a smartphone, but it had a camera. I added a big card to it, or it had a big card on it. Had like the ability to record 25 hours or 250 hours, some crap like that worth of video, and it was good enough, clear. The audio was clear enough, even though that device was being electronically jammed, but not getting off the situation. So that's where I first started out with. Don't have to have the expensive stuff, but as you work up, mine's not really all that expensive. But I've been homeless, and I know expense. When you start going 50 bucks, that's expensive. When you start doing 25 bucks, depending on what you're doing, and unstable with what you're doing, and having to do all the stuff, and it costing 25 to 100 bucks to even start out, that's expensive. It's a hardship, and the people that are bugging you know that you're in a hardship, and they're prying, and they are empowering themselves off of that and utilizing it more than likely against you. But without coaching situations, that's basically the way it's understood. Somebody else is taking advantage of you, taking advantage of the weakness, taking advantage of whatever they can, and thrilling themselves, entertaining themselves, and feeling powerful for themselves just over and over. Anyways, but yeah, I can understand some of the talk I'm having there with myself and hopefully viewers. But yeah, but better off. $7 camcorder from Wish, I think is like Wish, eBay, sites like that. Sometimes it's good just to play around with, so when you get ready, I mean, sometimes it's good enough to even utilize, but for my experience, most of the utilability, I wasn't good enough with the cheapo to get a more expensive $30 pen camera for, you know, covert deal, so you're not holding a cell phone being like, I'm recording you, or showing the abuser, hey, go ahead and hit me because you don't like what I'm doing, or go ahead and abuse me mentally and try to challenge me that I'm in the wrong for trying to record something. Not saying, you know, getting offhand that ain't possible, but always be supportive if you're trying to have support for yourself, or, you know, the respects and stuff that you're standing grounds for real and then the right. But not to get into that situation. More covert being cheap instead of being real expensive. $30 for a pen camera, which records a whole lot better. You can go to a place like HSN, and with that, I think it's $80, but you can get what is called FlexPay, and it costs you for 4 FlexPays $20 a month. That may be expensive to some people. Usually first payment with that though is like, if each payment's supposed to be 20, the first payment's like 30 because of shipping. The first payment's usually higher, but no matter what, you get to split that big cost into 4 months payments. If you need it immediately and don't have that full amount, maybe you can come up with the amount that they say for the 4 FlexPays. It's not always exact that way, but you get the gist of it. And that also was 2 pins, all that good stuff, and memory cards that go in the pen and stuff like that. It's supposed to be professional, sold in the store, not just on eBay and Wish or whatever else it is. Not saying their stuff's bad. I'll have to show my pen camera later, but I've ran into problems with it and stuff like that, and not being as good as quality, blah blah, you know, not as reliable as going up to a higher price. But definitely log and diary the situation. Pen camera might be also ideal without having a smartphone, and it's all about going cheaper to do daily diaries. Me, I like seeing myself. I like being able to immediately replay what I'm doing, which I'll do here. Verify my voice, verify the quality, the video isn't corrupt, which it shouldn't be, and I've had corrupt videos. Electronic jamming is the way I'll put it. Intentionally somebody corrupting the video or jamming the video so it doesn't record right, interfering with the device. Tons of other electronics, but that's the way my situation is. Major harassment, major assault, major situation, severity. Proving it would take a lot of money for that. Oscillator. A bug detector can detect some of the signaling, but you need something more precise. To have an investigator come in, that's expensive. So to get off that situation, you know, I like being able to do all of this stuff to verify with a smartphone or the ability of whatever device, tablet, something that I can see myself and play back. But even a spy cam you can't see, or a covert camera, pen cam, you can't see yourself being recorded, but hopefully you know that you're being recorded and it's functioning right, and you're able to do what you want. Anyways, enough talk about that. I done just rambling on, doing dumb shit, what I believe is good, and ran up some time again. But that's the end of this video. I'll be uploading this in a second here to the phone, you know. Give it some time, not just cool down, just give it a little relax time, and then I'll upload this to YouTube. Hopefully I can get myself together, explain while I'm also on the journey of trying to resolve my situations and showing efforts of what I did to resolve my situations without doing the maybe this will work, maybe that'll work. I want some good help, but I also want to show a little bit of my life out there, what's going on with me, so there's other people that knows what's going on in case something does go on wrong, badly or wrongfully, that if I go systematically trying to challenge it, I'm not alone is the way I feel, but more than likely still am. It's not really legal 100%, I don't think, nor is it great for support, just posting stuff like I am, but for what's regulated and understood, and hopefully somebody that is stalking me or trying to make it out that somebody wrongfully reported something to the system and they want to check me out, you can check this out. These are the support groups, these are the techniques that the support groups give. How to understand that these ain't support groups of UFOs landed in the backyard and here's how you make a tinfoil hat. This is stalking.org, this is domesticviolence.org, rain.org, whatever they are, you know, all the good goodies. And I'm looking into furthermore of understanding, and I've understood myself very, very hard situations. So you wanna come check me out, go ahead and come check that out. I appreciate good help. I don't appreciate perjury, systematical fraud, something that feels wrong, something that pushes me around while being a victim, while someone's trying to make, we're the system, we're not victimizing you. You know, these dumb shits, if it gets out, and this is explained to the people too. One, stuff I've been through. Two, to explain, it's called victim blaming. Even the system can get in trouble for it. The system can get in trouble for thugging, wrong acts, misconduct. There's been tons of it overlooked. So it's just to acknowledge that, you know, this is how I was told to do it. That's the way I'm doing it. And if you'd like to have to go chit chat with some of these people that says this is support, these are highly, supposedly reliable, good places, even having government funding backing them or support systems of their own authoritative systems. You're supporting that system through your system. So hopefully it's very acknowledgeable why things are happening the way they are. If you're checking me out for being weird, I record everything. That's crazy. I didn't like being called crazy for something I was told that was good, especially by a support group, while looking for support and being condemned that, well, you can't find support, you're not right. Yeah, it just keeps tumbling. Screw that. Anyways, hope it was enjoyable. Almost an hour long. 52 minutes, 32 seconds, 1.2 gigabytes, 1,256 megabytes. I said that for an hour, almost an hour long video. This one was really lengthy, but hey, I have a big card, nice card, storage space. Even if not, it uploads to OneDrive, it uploads to Google Drive, it uploads to multitudes of different locations, so I don't lose one location and lose all my video library. That's also recommended, to have multitudes of locations for myself. Some people that doesn't work out right. It depends on the predicament, but if you feel that compromisation, or that you feel that you'd be better off having that extra free place or even paid place for duplicates, then that's probably best off. One service fails out, you always have a backup on another service. One service is down, you can go to the other service, and usually automatically uploads over Wi-Fi as soon as you get done with your videos, if you set it right. So you can do your videos, set your phone down, put it on charge, not have to worry about going in and saying, hell, put this here, put that there. You know, organizational comes into an effect after that. It gets to be kind of hard, but not always. But with that being said, it's fairly easy to get this into a library online and being able to go back to those dates also, or systematically trying to understand what's going on. Week 1, week 2, year 1, year 2 shouldn't have went, and for reliability, situations shouldn't go on for so long that it doesn't seem right for the most part. But I'm not going to threaten with the system or what the system explained to me, because the system understands, well, when you see techniques, and I'll get in real quick with that, just because I said it, techniques of being stalked across the United States. It's not being stalked inside the town, it's not going from work or Mickey D's, stuff like that. It's a more severe situation. It's more organized, more well put together than it being just an individual or a little bit. It's a whole lot. But anyways, just now I'm numb, lockjawed, tense, tensification. I won't say the electrical shock's gone away, the back feed from it, but it's relatively close to example of vagus stimulation, deep brain stimulation. But now the after effects. Do I feel dumb? Am I being treated like I'm dumb? More than likely. Attitude, nonverbal communication, verbal communication, community harassments, all the good stuff. Once again, I wish I could teach people, and hopefully I can in the future, a little bit of how I took care of myself and what support groups are there. Some people are in a worse, better situation than I am. I've dealt with it so long, I don't know, I won't even put myself down with that, but you know, be able to immediately take care in the future is what I'm hoping. Or at least producing somebody else to help out with, maybe even stalking.org or something, you know, even though they have great help, but to help out faster, to be able to get the situations resolved for people who are having this much trouble, to understand, to be able to live an enjoyable life. Yeah. So, appreciate any viewership. That's great. Have fun. Peace out. I'm done. I am ending this video myself. I say that at a lot, if not all of my videos, for the last, out of the 8 years that I've been recording, something like that, 7 years, for the last at least 5.5, 6 years, because of electronic jamming. Be recording. You got to keep if you're having that problem, keep an eye on that it is still recording, because I've had it where the camera kicks off and I done talked for 15 minutes or 5 extra minutes and the camera not be on. The video, you can see it looks like it's on because you're seeing yourself, but it not be recording, and losing the ability because some of that concentration's there, and losing that ability of going back over the same thing with the same strength. But that's bad I won't say bad information, that's looked down upon psychologically to a point, but that's also not to be taken as assaultive, that it is looking bad upon psychologically if it's going to help you out. Even a lawyer, psychological lawyer, will tell you that. It's one of those systematical things. The system may apply, that's not good. You can get a legalized lawyer telling you it may not be good, but it's still okay, or as long as it resorts in being helpful, then you should go ahead and do it to a point. Anyways, yes, I'm done. I'm pressing stop on this video myself. No electronic jamming so far. The phone is not too hot. A lot of times it'll heat up if it's eavesdropped on. External connections, eavesdropping on the audio or video or data theft. Those are signs. But anyways, none of that is happening right now. I'm feeling the phone. It's cool. It has a little warmth to it, but it's normal. That's good and cool. Anyhow, peace.